Well, good afternoon and welcome to Cut to the Chase with Senator Chase, our weekly call-in town hall and radio show. I'm State Senator Amanda Chase, your weekly radio show host, serving the 11th Senatorial District, which includes all of Amelia, all of Colonial Heights, and most of Chesterfield, where I live. I'm a Christian, conservative, Republican, and in that order, I serve on 4 committees in the Senate, Health and Education, Transportation, Local Governments, and Privileges and Elections. And it's an honor to be on the show each week, and we're going to do our best to answer your question on the show. I also want to give a special shout out to WNTW, The Answer, for this opportunity to provide this free public service to you each week on Cut to the Chase with Senator Chase. And today we have a very special guest, Delegate Rich Anderson. He is actually retired Air Force. He retired back in 2009 as a colonel after a 30-year military career. He's former senior military advisor to the Deputy Undersecretary of the Air Force, former senior military assistant in the Office of the Secretary of Defense. He commanded the Titan II intercontinental ballistic missile launch centers. I know we're going to want to talk about North Korea and combat crews. And he also led and operated a Minuteman II ICBM squadron missiles and launch crews. He was a senior military leader at Strategic Air Command Headquarters, U.S. Atlantic Command Headquarters, U.S. Pacific Command Headquarters, and the Pentagon. It is such an honor to have Delegate Rich Anderson. Can you hear me, Delegate Anderson?
I sure can. Senator Chase, can you hear me?
I can hear you, and thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule to come on our show today. Now, you chair Science and Technology, and rightly so, given your background in the military, but you also are on General Laws, Transportation, and the powerful Appropriations Committee. So, and you've got about 8 different subcommittees that you serve on as well. And we are so excited to have you. You're from Prince William County, and you are actually a native Virginia, born in Roanoke.
That's correct. I am. So I'm back home, different end of the state, but back home. You mentioned earlier, and by the way, I don't know who does your research for you, but you're watching. So I just wanted to say it's a privilege, especially to be able to return to my native Virginia after serving in the United States Air Force, but I was able to spend so much of my 30-year career in Virginia because I was able in the 90s to come back and reside in Hampton, Virginia, in the eastern part of the state, in Hampton Roads, because I was assigned to United States Atlantic Command, which was headquartered in Norfolk. I, of course, had preceded that during my growing up years in Roanoke and went to Virginia Tech, so I knew Southwest Virginia. And then the last 8 years of my career were spent at the Pentagon. So I got to know Northern Virginia. The one piece I didn't know was Richmond, and then I got to learn that during and after my first legislative session in 2010. So my Virginia education was complete.
Thankfully so. Well, what I've enjoyed is serving with Delegate Rich Anderson. As I've explained to our listeners, the House and the Senate, a lot of times they're very separate bodies, and many times we don't get to see each other until crossover or when we're trying to reconcile bills at the very end, whenever our bills go into conference. But Delegate Anderson is one of my favorite delegates. And I love his military background and experience, and it's so important to have retired military in our General Assembly and providing that perspective. Do you have any special comments about what's going on in North Korea?
Well, I have been watching it, obviously, like everybody else, from afar. The last half of my career, I worked in a career field, which in the Air Force was called the politico-military career field, where you dealt with the militaries of other countries. I had specialized in countries located in the Asia-Pacific Theater of Operations and falling under United States Pacific Command. In fact, I was stationed at Pacific Command in Honolulu for 3 years prior to coming to the Pentagon in 2001. So once I got to the Pentagon, I was chief of the Asia-Pacific Division in the Office of the Secretary of the Air Force, and that was a body that engaged in relationship building with the air forces of Asia-Pacific countries. And one of those countries was South Korea. Obviously, we didn't have a relationship with North Korea, but I certainly did with South Korea. The organization was called the ROCAF, the Republic of Korea Air Force, and several times went to the demilitarized zone, and even the geography. You could see the stark difference between the two countries. On the south side of the DMZ, it was green and lush, and the north side was barren and brown, simply because of the economic conditions. They had to raise the land in order to strip the land in order to have fuel to burn. And that's played out, that sort of backward, not only society, but that backward way in which they have dealt with other countries to actually, if you'll let me use a phrase, to cut to the chase, the Western countries cannot permit North Korea to acquire a deliverable nuclear warhead. And right now, that delivery mechanism would be at the top of an intercontinental or even an intermediate range ballistic missiles. That country simply doesn't have the maturity or the responsibility to be faithful and responsible stewards of nuclear weapons. So,
do you think we've underestimated North Korea?
Well, it's hard for me to answer that because, I had a security clearance and dealt with these issues up until 8 years ago. So I cannot speak with any sort of first-hand knowledge, but based on what I've read in authoritative public media sources, I'm led to believe that they are on the cusp or may even have in their possession several weapons. Now, the question is, can they reliably deliver those to target areas via intercontinental ballistic missiles? I don't think that they have a reliable capability right now, but I think certainly that they're rapidly closing in on that ability.
So maybe that's the reason they strategically said near Guam, because they weren't sure if they could hit it or not, right?
Right, but there's an old saying in the nuclear business that you only have to get close by because of the sheer destructive power of these weapons. They're just unfathomable to the mortal mind. Well,
it's just, I know for those of us that are watching these reports coming off with North Korea, you don't hear much about it lately in the news because, unfortunately, the tragic events that have happened in Charlottesville over the past week, and I know that two of our Virginia State police officers were killed in the line of duty. Lieutenant Pilot Jay Cullen was actually my neighbor, and just such a tragic event. And we've attended the funerals this past week, and that's predominantly resided, I think, over the media lately. So I appreciate you taking time to comment on North Korea. I would like to look at a little bit of the legislation that you have. Tell the folks whenever you were first elected into office. I was looking for that in my notes.
Oh, I retired in early 2009 from the Air Force, started a campaign right after, and then was elected in November of 2009, and then, of course, was sworn in for the first time in January of 2010.
Very good. What do you think are the biggest surprises from going from military life and over to the House of Delegates? What are the biggest takeaways?
Well, I'm probably going to give you an answer you weren't expecting, to be honest. I didn't experience any sort of surprise. And as I look around at my fellow veterans who serve in the House of Delegates, particularly those who served an entire career and therefore worked at in some very senior positions of responsibility, they were already accustomed to leading large and complex organizations consisting of large numbers of people tackling complex issues.
Delegate Anderson, we've got to go to a break real quick.
Okay.
But y'all stay tuned because Delegate Anderson's going to be right back after 4 minutes. You don't want to miss it. We've got a great show for you today.
This hour on WNTW 820 The Answer, featuring Cut to the Chase with Senator Chase, is sponsored by All-in-One Services, Richmond's leader in flooring, bathroom, and kitchen remodeling. Call All-in-One Services today at 1-888-MY-CONTRACTOR. All-in-One Services has been Greater Richmond's premier floor, bath, and kitchen remodeler for over a decade, saving local homeowners thousands of dollars. Call All-in-One Services now at 1-888-MY-CONTRACTOR. With All-in-One's A to Z service, you won't need subcontractors. Everything is included. All-in-One also lets you see your kitchen before it's remodeled with 3D software suited for homeowners and contractors alike. You'll quickly see why All-in-One is consistently in the top 5% of Angie's List and a repeat winner of their Super Service Award. With your floor, bath, and kitchen remodeling needs, call All-in-One Services today at 1-888-MY-CONTRACTOR. That's 1-888-MY-CONTRACTOR.
The Chesterfield County Colonial Heights Crime Solvers program needs your help to solve a series of larcenies from auto. On Thursday, June 22nd, between 3:20 and 4:30 p.m., a man was riding his bicycle at Pocahontas State Park. When he got back to his car, he realized his doors had been left unlocked. Well, later that day, his bank sent him a notice that several of his credit cards had been used without his authorization. Later that day, between 5:45 and 9:45 p.m., 2 victims were away from their unlocked cars in Rockwood Park. These victims, too, were notified of unauthorized charges on their credit accounts. Thankfully, when the stolen cards were used, store cameras captured images of 2 suspects. Those pictures can be seen at crimesolvers.net or on Facebook at crimesolverscch. And if you have information on these or any unsolved crimes in or people wanted by Chesterfield or Colonial Heights, submit a tip through the hotline 748-0660 or through the new P3 app. Remember, if your tip helps, you could receive a cash reward. Like us on Facebook, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and take the time to solve the crime.
Attention! Sorry I'm talking a little loud because I want to reach people with a hearing problem. Do you want to hear better for just $299? Yes, not thousands, but for $299, you can hear all the sounds you've been missing for years. Hearing Help Express has been helping people hear better, selling top-quality hearing aids for over 30 years. Now's your best chance to hear better with hearing aids for only $299, plus a free 45-day home trial offer, and you don't even need to leave your home or get a hearing test. Call now to start your risk-free 45-day home trial offer. Call 888-451-2042. 888-451-2042 for free hearing help consultation. Learn how Hearing Help Express can improve the quality of your life. Visit us online now at hearinghelp.com or call 888-451-2042. 888-451-2042.
Beat the heat before the heat beats you. Call Daniels Heating and Refrigeration now at 804-379-1155 for your free quote. Summer heat is rolling in, and Daniels Heating and Refrigeration is offering a free Wi-Fi thermostat with any system replacement. Extend the life of your HVAC system. Save energy with a low-cost maintenance agreement. Call Daniels Heating and Refrigeration now at 804-379-1155. That's 804-379-1155.
Welcome back to Cut to the Chase with Senator Chase. This is our weekly call-in town hall and radio show, and the number is 804-454-1366, and we're happy to take your call on the phone today. I have special guest delegate Rich Anderson. retired from the Air Force back in 2009 as a colonel after a 30-year military career. And Virginia is very blessed to have him serving us in the 51st House District, which is the county of Prince William. And that's now, Delegate Anderson, are you just Prince William County? It says that you have part of Prince William County as your district.
That's correct, Amanda. I have the principal cities of Woodbridge, the county parts of Manassas, and then over to a more rural area called Brentsville and Nokesville, which falls just short of Gainesville.
Very good. Well, I'm sorry I had to cut you off there. On Cut to the Chase, we don't mean to cut people off. But what I'd like to talk about is some of the key legislation that you put forward, and some were actually signed. In fact, you have quite a few that were signed by the governor, so kudos to you for that. Key legislation. So let's talk about HB 2425, which it looks like the bill established a goal to increase by 5% the level of individuals with disabilities employed by the state government by the fiscal year 2023. Tell us a little bit about this bill.
Well, Amanda, when I went to Richmond, I went there locked in my head that I wanted to work on transportation issues because I live in the thick of it up here, and then also military and veterans issues because obviously I had lived that. We all, as you know, kind of tend to gravitate to issues that are reflective of life's experiences. And so that's what I planned to do. But there was an area that just presented itself to me, and that was dealing with Virginians with disabilities. And I developed probably 6 years ago a very close relationship with a gentleman that everyone in the General Assembly knows. He is one of the chief spokespersons for Virginians with disabilities, and that's Ed Turner. He's seen riding around the Capitol in his motorized wheelchair, and I've developed a close relationship with Ed, and I learned to see a lot of these things through Ed's eyes. And so for that reason, when he came to me and asked me if I would carry this bill, I didn't bat an eye. If Ed asked, I try to work with him because he's thought it through. And so what that bill does is seeks to establish a goal that 5% of employees of Virginia state government will be those who have certified disabilities. At the present time, we don't even know how many are already in Virginia state government. So the bill will permit us to do a survey of our current employees in order to establish a baseline, and then we'll move out from there. We've had a series of meetings since the session to talk about the particulars because the devil's always in the details, but the affected state agencies are being very cooperative with it. And I feel very good about that bill.
Well, congratulations, because that bill was signed into law. And if we have listeners that may be interested in applying for some, maybe they're thinking, I have a disability and, I would be interested in working for the Commonwealth of Virginia. Do you know where could they go to maybe apply for one of those jobs? Have y'all worked out those details yet?
Well, Virginians with disabilities would apply, as do any other citizen of Virginia or anyone who aspires to work for the state of Virginia. I don't have the website in front of me, but there is a way to do that on the internet. And what I would suggest is that anyone simply Google application for Virginia state employment or something to that effect, and you'll get right to the appropriate website.
Kelsey's looking it up for me as we speak, so we'll have that.
Okay.
We'll have that website in just a minute. So, that's a fantastic idea. Now let's look at House Bill 2302 pertaining to veteran services, and this bill was also passed and signed into law. Tell us a little bit about that bill.
House bill, and I tell you what, I'm doing the same thing that you guys are doing. I'm looking it up because I had a sufficient number of bills that, House Bill 2302 was a bill that would streamline the structure of the Virginia Board of Veterans Services. I'm a member of the board, have been since I became a delegate, and what it does is it defines how the board can be structured. The old provisions in the Code of Virginia really excessively regulated the board structure, and now it gives the chairman of the Board of Veterans Services the ability to create subcommittees and to make determinations about when the board meets. And it also changed the terms for some of the members of the board so that they can stay longer, since it's a very unique niche requiring very pretty specific knowledge of the issues. And so that made the board, I think, more flexible and responsive to the need of Virginia veterans, which is important in a state where you have literally 800,000 veterans. Fully 1/10 of our citizens are veterans, and that doesn't even count their dependent family members.
Well, I know that in Virginia, we are the #1 employer of veterans. They're all right here in Virginia. And I know that they are very appreciative of the restructuring there with the veteran services. I want to go back to the last bill because we have a website here for those who are interested in applying for a job with the Commonwealth of Virginia. And that is, this is www.chesterfield.gov/careers. I'm not sure if that's the right website. I think that's for Chesterfield specific. It should be with the state, so she's going to look that up again. We'll find it. So very good. Let's look at House Bill 1913 as it relates to the purchase of cigarettes for resale and the penalties therein. And just as this creates a new requirement that purchasers of cigarettes for resale must apply for a special cigarette exemption certificate from the Department of Taxation in order to not be liable for the payment of sales tax at the time of purchase. Can you break this down on a cut to the chase version for everyday listeners as to what this bill will do now that it's signed into law?
I'm a member of the Virginia State Crime Commission, which meets in about the last quarter of the year after we've done a number of studies. And one of the studies we've done over the last several years that I've been on the commission is about how to combat this problem of cigarette trafficking. Mm-hmm. What happens is criminals, and this is an organized crime enterprise, they will purchase from big box stores literally hundreds of thousands of cigarettes, and tax does not have to be paid at that time by the distributor. It's actually collected at the point of sale in a retail store. So what happens is these criminals purchase the cigarettes, aren't required at that point of the transaction, the lifespan of the cigarette, to pay the tax. They'll load them in a vehicle, drive them to New York, where there are excessively high, very high taxes on cigarette products, tobacco products, and as a result, they pocket a handsome profit. And because tax is not collected, it never comes back to the state. We lose about $10 million a year out of the general fund because of that. What this did is that put into place mechanisms by which an individual who is going to purchase large quantities of cigarettes for resale must produce a state provided exemption certificate for the tax transaction.
Okay, and we're going to come back. We'll be right back in just a second. Delegate Anderson will be back in 4 minutes.
Corpus Christi, Texas, among communities under an evacuation advisory ahead of tomorrow night's expected arrival of Hurricane Harvey. Harvey expected to make landfall northeast of Corpus Christi. Some areas in the hurricane zone could get more than 20 inches of rain, according to forecasters. A hostage standoff in Charleston, South Carolina ended today when the lone gunman shot and wounded by police. A restaurant worker who was shot by the gunman has died. When it comes to the president's relationship with Republican leaders in Congress, White House Press Secretary Sarah Huckabee Sanders says it's fine. She also dismisses Senator Bob Corker's claim that Mr. Trump has failed to demonstrate confidence or stability in his role as president. On Wall Street today, the Dow closed down 29 points. More details at srnnews.com.
Futures and options trading involves substantial risk and is not suitable for all investors.
Fire the stockbroker and hire yourself. I'm Larry Levin, and I've been on the trading floor for 23 years. I was one of the biggest traders in the S&P pit. I'm also the president of Trading Advantage, the leading educational firm teaching people how to become professional day traders. Now, for a limited time, I'm offering one of the trading techniques I use to make $1.9 million for free. Invest in and control your own future. Get started right now by calling 800-914-5567. Leave your email address on my voicemail, and I'll email you my free trading technique and daily insiders market report at no cost to you. This is the very information I use to build my fortune.
I was getting ready to retire. I still needed to make extra income, but I didn't want to work for anyone else. Because of Larry and his excellent instructors, I could trade successfully for myself, and I'll never have to work for someone else again.
Fire the stockbroker and hire the most dependable person you know, you. Again, call in the next 90 minutes, leave your email address on my voicemail, 800-914-5567. 800-914-5567. 800-914-5567.
Adopt US Kids presents Multiple Choice Parenting.
Your daughter just got invited to the prom. Do you A, meet her date?
I need to see your past date report cards, your driver's license, a list of references, and this hair sample.
B, help her pick out a dress.
Don't you just love the long sleeves and turtleneck on this pantsuit?
Ugh.
C, attend the prom undercover.
Mom, what are you doing here?
I'm not Mom, I'm Calvin, the new kid at school.
Or D, capture her big moment.
Let's take a photo of you two. I'm in the middle.
When it comes to parenting, there are no perfect answers. But that's okay, because you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Teens in foster care will love you just the same.
For more information on how you can adopt, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
Beat the heat before the heat beats you. Call Daniels Heating and Refrigeration now at 804-379-1155 for your free quote. Summer heat is rolling in, and Daniels Heating and Refrigeration is offering a free Wi-Fi thermostat with any system replacement. Extend the life of your HVAC system. Save energy with a low-cost maintenance agreement. Call Daniels Heating and Refrigeration now at 804-379-1155. That's 804-379-1155.
We know it was them who sent sound bites of Michael Savage to England to get him banned in England. You Nazi rats, you. You left-wing Nazi rats. Half of you are children of Holocaust survivors. You rats, you've been on drugs so long, you don't even know you become the worst scum on the planet.
Tune in to the Savage Nation, weekdays, here on Richmond's Choice for Conservative Talk Radio. WNTW 820, The Answer.
You have just tuned in to Cut to the Chase with Senator Amanda Chase, your weekly town hall and call-in radio show. This is a free public service that we offer to the constituents that are calling in in our listening audience. I would say viewing audience, but they can't view very much because they're listening. So I have Delegate Rich Anderson, who is from Prince William County. And we're talking about a number of issues. He's retired military. He has been serving in the House of Delegates since 2009. And I also want to thank Delegate Rich Anderson for signing the Transparency Caucus letter that basically is creating more transparency in the General Assembly. What this letter did, it was a letter to the House and the Senate clerks, and we had leadership on both sides, the House and the Senate, to also sign this letter. There was no legislation involved, which shows sometimes you can do things without legislation, and I think it's great. So we wrote a letter that basically requested that when we move to the new building, that we would have the ability to record and live stream the committee meetings in the House and the Senate. And that's going to be done for the first time in Virginia's history coming up this session ahead of schedule. So I'm very thankful for that, and I just want to give kudos to Delegate Anderson because he was one of the ones that signed that letter. So thank you very much.
Well, thank you. Sunshine is the best disinfectant, as they say.
I like that. That's a really good statement. You know, there are so many misconceptions that I think people have about those of us who serve in the House and the Senate. And, you know, I would say that while things have not been great in the past, as far as a spirit of transparency, at least the members in the House and the Senate that I've worked with, they've been very open to it. Having the press on the floor in the Senate, and I'm assuming, is it that way in the House? Do y'all have the press right there on the floor? Or?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. In fact, I sit on the very back row, so if I want to see a press person, I just have to wheel around in my seat, and there they are.
They sit in the front of the Senate, and they sit right in front of my desk. So, I'm right there. But we're not allowed to talk to them until we get off the floor. So it's interesting, the different rules that we have. So since being in the House since 2009, what would you say is the most memorable, the most significant piece of legislation that you feel like that you've been a part of?
Well, that's a good question. I've never had a person ask me that, Amanda. So probably I was very gratified to, there's a couple, and so there's a couple that rank up as kind of co-number one positions. The one that I'm very pleased with in 2013 was I worked with one of your colleagues on the Senate side, Senator George Barker, on a bill to ban texting while driving. And the reason I carried that bill was I had 3 sisters in the district that I represent whose brother had been killed in 2012 by a texting driver. And so I carried a bill in 2013. Senator Barker had done it a couple of years before and had some expertise, and we're both in Prince William County, so we did it together. And that bill did outlaw texting while driving, but it had to be very narrowly written in order to move it through the General Assembly. And several times I've attempted to broaden it to include all the other distracting behaviors, such as watching Facebook, watching YouTube, playing games, things like that, and have broadened it to try to combat distracted driving. And the reason is, in 2016, the numbers that I receive from DMV tell me that in 2016, and we're on track for the same thing this year, 75 people died as a result of distracted driving, and believe it or not, 14,700 were injured. So it's something we've got to address. It's a very real threat, and it has the same debilitating results as drinking and driving. So texting while driving and drinking while driving are both deadly behaviors.
Well, I'm interested in maybe getting some callers to call in 804-454-1366 and just getting people's thoughts on that particular bill. And, whether it's, a lot of people say, that's Big Brother. I should be able to do what I want to in my car. But at the same time, there's also the argument at the point that your vehicle hurts or injures another person, then that's not good either. So we've got to go to a break again. I know we have all these hard breaks on our show, and I apologize for that, but we do have to go to a break. But we will be back in 4 minutes. So you all will stay tuned, and I've got Delegate Rich Anderson. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
This hour on WNTW 820 The Answer, featuring Cut to the Chase with Senator Chase, is sponsored by All-in-One Services, Richmond's leader in flooring, bathroom, and kitchen remodeling. Call All-in-One Services today at 1-888-MY-CONTRACTOR.
Hey there! Did you know that with a bachelor's degree, on average, you could make almost twice as much over a lifetime than a person with just a high school diploma? It's true. According to the 2012 U.S. Census Bureau, college grads with a bachelor's degree make almost twice as much as high school grads. Now, going back to school is easier than ever at Independence University. Log on and complete coursework from the park, or the beach, or even your couch watching the kids. And Independence University gives you the tools, a free tablet and laptop for undergrad students to use and keep when they graduate. That's right, get a laptop so you can go to college from anywhere. Take the first step to a new career in business, information technology, healthcare, or graphic arts. Call to find the online degree program that's right for you, and you could be on your way to increasing your earning potential.
800-989-1361. 800-989-1361. That's 800-989-1361.
If your financial plan is even slightly out of tune, you may be paying too much for taxes, exposing yourself to too much risk, or retiring without a sound income plan. Listen to WNTW AM 820 The Answer on Saturdays at 9 a.m. and Sundays at 8:30 a.m. to Financially Tuned with Big John Pulowski of Norseman Advisory Group. You can contact Big John at 757-223-1559 or visit the website at norsemanagi.com.
That ad you just heard, it could have been yours. That's right, you could have just heard your ad instead of some other guys. On AM 820 and 97.7 FM, you can reach more potential customers, many just like you, who can add dollars to your bottom line. Our team will work with you to make the perfect ad for your business. So give us a call at 804-717-2000. That's 804-717-2000. Your first step to becoming a household name.
Before the book How to Win Friends and Influence People was the Dale Carnegie course. Now, after 104 years, over 8 million people experience Dale Carnegie courses. People like Warren Buffett and Ronald Reagan. The Dale Carnegie experience uses proven techniques to permanently unlock the potential of top talent, making individuals into inspiring leaders and groups into high-performing teams, while reducing the financial and emotional costs of employee turnover. For more information, visit DaleCarnegieRichmond.com. That's DaleCarnegieRichmond.com. All-in-One Services has been Greater Richmond's premier floor, bath, and kitchen remodeler for over a decade, saving local homeowners thousands of dollars. Call All-in-One Services now at 1-888-MY-CONTRACTOR. With All-in-One's A to Z service, you won't need subcontractors. Everything is included. All-in-One also lets you see your kitchen before it's remodeled with 3D software suited for homeowners and contractors alike. You'll quickly see why All-in-One is consistently in the top 5% of Angie's List and a repeat winner of their Super Service Award. With your floor, bath, and kitchen remodeling needs, call All-in-One Services today at 1-888-MY-CONTRACTOR. That's 1-888.
Well, good afternoon. This is State Senator Amanda Chase and Delegate Rich Anderson. At 804-454-1366, you can call us, and we will be happy to answer your question here on the line. And I have an answer from earlier, thanks to Delegate Rich Anderson and his quick fingers over there. He has found jobs.virginia.gov as the website for a job with the state of Virginia. That's www.jobs.virginia.gov. So we want to give that to you right now. And I also want to point out, as I always do, anytime we have a Hokie that comes on the air with me, that Delegate Rich Anderson is also a Virginia Tech Hokie. So that's very important to note. Also retired military. And we're so thankful that you were able to come on to Cut to the Chase today. And let's talk about the Commission on Civic Education, and which we serve on together. And let's start off by informing our listener as to what exactly a commission is.
Well, Amanda, the Virginia Commission on Civics Education has existed for about 10 years. I've been on it probably 6 or so years, and I thoroughly enjoy it. It at first examination may sound like a mundane sort of issue, but it actually serves a very important purpose, and it's simply that it's to create a climate in Virginia where our public school systems have an enriched series of courses on civics. There's so many things in the curriculum now that are tending to crowd that out, but it all focuses on local and state government, feeling that there is plenty of emphasis on national government, on federal government, in other course offerings. And so it's really about how a young person can engage in the civic life of their community. And with some of the circumstances that we've seen not only in Virginia but around the country, a rigorous study of civics and a civil approach to problems that confront us all, it's a strong argument for the need for civics education in the public school system.
And we have a very, for teachers, we have a very special event that's coming up in November. And do you have the date in front of you?
Yes, well, I've got it in my brain. It's November the 16th. Starts at 9 a.m. Will conclude at 4 p.m. We normally do it at the Virginia State Capitol, but because of the construction of a new General Assembly building, rooms are at a premium. So the Virginia Press Association, also located in Richmond, has graciously offered to let us do the 2017 Virginia Civic Summit there. The event is really a neat event because it happens right after the November general elections, and that means everyone will still be focused on the just completed elections and what they mean for the future of the Commonwealth. We'll have some pretty preeminent political scientists there who will analyze the election. That's always the highlight every year. And then we have a number of other activities that will, I think, capture the interest of the civics teachers who are in attendance. We open this up to bring civics teachers to Richmond so that they can experience the seat of government, so that they can interact with other civics teachers, so that they can hear current and former governors on the issues. And so that's what the event is all about. And if there are any teachers listening to this who desire to attend, the Virginia Department of Education distributes this out to all history, civics, government, and social studies teachers in the state.
Now, is there information on the Virginia Department of Education's website about this?
Not just yet, because, as you know, we met last week and we discussed, we nailed down the date and we nailed down the venue where we would conduct it, again, at the Virginia Press Association headquarters. And so they've got to get all that together and work out all of the logistics, the parking, the meals, because we provide lunch. And so there'll be something distributed, I would say, probably within the next several weeks.
Okay, very good. Stay tuned. And when I get that information, we'll actually make an announcement on our show because we do want our teachers to participate in that. And I think that's a great venue. So it's hard to believe we've almost come to the end of the show here. It's goes by so quickly. Do you have any final comments that you would want to communicate to our listeners just on any topic whatsoever?
Well, I would just say that I think you would agree with me, Amanda. This Virginia General Assembly belongs to the people. I know that sounds trite, and a lot of elected folks say that, but it really does. The thing that amazed me as someone who essentially walked out of the secure climate of the Pentagon and a few months later moved into an office in the Virginia State Capitol, how open our Capitol is, how accessible it is, how easy it is to get in there, how easy it is to have an unannounced visit with your senator or your delegate, how the bodies in both houses, the committees and subcommittees, anyone can walk off the street regardless of their station in life and speak to a bill that's being considered by that committee. I have been very impressed with the openness of state government in the legislative branch and how accessible it is.
Well, I would agree. And one of the things that we talk about on our show is the importance of accessibility, approachability, and accountability. And that really is coming in as a grassroots activist. I've been pleasantly surprised just at the genuineness of the delegates and the senators who really do desire to meet with constituents and answer their issues. One other topic, this topic just was published in the Chesterfield Observer today about the coal ash ponds. Dominion has just hired a firm to assess the coal ash ponds, and this has been a hot issue in our area. But again, I want to thank Delegate Anderson on the House side of things because although I co-sponsored this legislation, 1398, with Senator Survell, who is also, I think he's your senator, correct?
No, Senator Barker is my senator,
Okay.
but Senator Survell does have a portion of Prince William, so we work together.
Well, thankfully, this bill was passed. It had bipartisan support. It got signed into office. The bill got signed by the governor, and we're going to get a report on December the 1st. And Delegate Rich Anderson was on the House side helping me with this bill and getting the original language back in there that had been gutted once it initially got to the House subcommittee. So we really want to thank him for that. And you can read in the Chesterfield Observer, and I'm going to talk about this when we come back from the break. How many more minutes do we have left? Gosh, it's already 4:51. This time flies when you're having fun. Stay tuned. We will be right back. We've got a quick break, and then we'll come back for the final wrap-up of Cut to the Chase with Senator Chase.
Why do I have a problem with millennials? And I'm sick and tired of hearing the word, and I'm sick and tired of catering to them, and I'm sick and tired of hearing what they think, because they don't think. All they do is spew the data that they get off an iPhone or what's been put into their silly little heads in the public schools.
Tune in to the Savage Nation, weekdays, here on Richmond's Choice for Conservative Talk Radio, WNTW 820, The Answer.
Beat the heat before the heat beats you. Call Daniels Heating and Refrigeration now at 804-379-1155 for your free quote. Summer heat is rolling in, and Daniels Heating and Refrigeration is offering a free Wi-Fi thermostat with any system replacement. Extend the life of your HVAC system. Save energy with a low-cost maintenance agreement. Call Daniels Heating and Refrigeration now at 804-379-1155. That's 804-379-1155. All-in-One Services has been Greater Richmond's premier floor, bath, and kitchen remodeler for over a decade. Call All-in-One Services now at 1-888-MY-CONTRACTOR. With All-in-One's A to Z service, you won't need subcontractors. Everything is included. With your floor, bath, and kitchen remodeling needs, call All-in-One Services today at 1-888-MY-CONTRACTOR. You'll quickly see why All-in-One is consistently in the top 5% of Angie's List. That's 1-888-MY-CONTRACTOR.
Get your daily inspiration on our sister station, the Truth Network of Richmond, on AM 590 and 107.7 FM. The Truth Network is now on 107.7 FM, just up the dial. For 24 hours of encouragement, enjoy 107.7 FM. Realign your focus on the most important things. Just turn your dial to our sister station, the Truth Network of Richmond, on 590 AM and 107.7 FM.
Before a trip, you program your destination into the GPS. You need the best directions to get where you want to be.
You will arrive at your retirement in 8
It's the same for retirement. You need a voice to guide you. In Richmond, that voice is Isaac Wright. Join him every Saturday at 3 and Sunday at noon on WNTW 820 The Answer. Isaac's experience can help your retirement journey feel like a drive down easy street. Take the first step by tuning in Saturdays at 3 and Sundays at noon for Retire Right with Isaac Wright.
Arriving at your retirement.
That ad you just heard, it could have been yours. That's right, you could have just heard your ad instead of some other guys. On AM 820 and 97.7 FM, you can reach more potential customers, many just like you, who can add dollars to your bottom line. Our team will work with you to make the perfect ad for your business. So give us a call at 804-717-2000. That's 804-717-2000. Your first step to becoming a household name.
Thank you again for joining us today on Cut to the Chase with Senator Chase on WNTW The Answer. You have reached the final wrap-up of Cut to the Chase, so we are going to tell you a little bit about next week. I actually have Congressman Dave Bratt who will be joining us next week, so you won't want to miss that. I also want to thank Delegate Rich Anderson for generously using his time to come on our show today. He's very busy, and so we appreciate him taking time to come on the air today and to give you some information maybe you haven't heard. And I want to give you the opportunity to meet your legislators. And that's what we're going to be working on the weeks and months to come up through session. And Delegate Anderson, I really appreciate you coming on the show today, and we'd love to have you back. Our goal is to try to continue Cut to the Chase as we did last session. And we certainly welcome you to contribute anytime in allowing you the opportunity to communicate to constituents that I think we cover about a fourth of Virginia. We go from all the way from Williamsburg to Amelia, and we've just expanded to 97.7 FM. So we've really increased our listening area. So thank you so much for coming on with us today.
Well, thanks, Amanda. It was great to be with you today, and it's great to serve with you in the General Assembly.
Well, Delegate Rich Anderson is retired military, and just an honor to serve with him. And that's what I love about this show, is that you're going to hear different perspectives from all different types of walks of life. We're citizen legislators who are elected by the people in our area, and we all have different experiences and backgrounds, and so I hope you all enjoy that. So thank you for joining us today, and we're going to have Delegate Rich Anderson back on hopefully between now and session, or at least during session as we get heated up. The final thing that I'm going to talk about today is Dominion Energy, and just wanted to give you a follow-up because we've been talking about the coal ash ponds, and we've got a Chesterfield power plant here in Chesterfield, and I've actually taken citizens on tours of the facility, constituents who are concerned about the water quality. And so Dominion has now officially hired a multinational engineering firm, it's AEE-COM, to conduct an independent assessment of coal ash storage ponds. And that's going to be done at 4 Virginia power stations, so not just ours, but others. And they're going to present state lawmakers with options for the long-term management of the coal ash. And, this is not, as we've mentioned on the show, not a problem that's specific only to Virginia, but across the U.S. We've used coal for many, many years for electricity for our homes. And so it's there's plenty of things, plenty of opportunities to look at what other states are doing, and that's what we're doing. And this bill basically required a timeout period where we make sure that we're doing all of our homework, getting all that done, so we make sure that if there's any cost associated to the ratepayer, that they only pay for this once and not twice. So very important. All right. Well, we are going to come back next Thursday, so you will want to join us again from 4 to 5 next Thursday on Cut to the Chase with Senator Chase, and Congressman Dave Brat will be joining us, so you will want to stay tuned next week. Cut to the Chase with Senator Chase. Thanks for joining.
This hour on WNTW 820 The Answer, featuring Cut to the Chase with Senator Chase, is sponsored by All-in-One Services. All-in-One Services. All-in-One Services. All-in-One Services. All-in